Okay, I gotta admit, playing with my daughter like that, it was too much fun, honestly. But even playing with just the parts of the armor is actually super fun, and it feels super cool. So, if you watched this or one of these videos, you already know how I assembled the glove itself, using the protection gloves to attach the fingers and have the glove inside already. So all I basically need to do is actually squeeze my hand in. That's it, you have fully functional glove. Now, the Ironman glove is nothing if it's not lighting up. So how did I actually do that? How I made this one light up, and I'll pretty much do the same here. So on the back, I have a back plate that holds, and I hope you can see this clearly, this LED. There's a slot for the wires to go through, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. It just holds the LED in place. I got the wires sticking out so I can plug in a connector that will connect the LED in the glove with power source that's actually in the forearm, because I wanted this piece, the gauntlet itself, to be self-sustained and I can use only it. Why? Well, exactly. So I can use only the gauntlet itself. And it's just fun. Another thing is these batteries with this LED, they're salvaged from a headlamp, worker lamp, and they will last forever before I ever need to recharge the battery. And the battery is actually rechargeable. I'll show you that in a minute. So the very next thing I did is I added a buckle in the back with some elastic so it's flexible and it moves. And the second part of the buckle is right here on the topper itself. So basically, to attach these two, just line them up and push the buckle in. I mean, it's that simple. And now you have the entire glove. I made a cut to the back piece, to the topper of the hand, right here, because I didn't want my top piece of the glove, whenever I do this to light it up, there's a huge gap. With this one, only it moves and the gap is much smaller. That's why I cut it. You can do that, you don't have to do that. That one is up to you. So the next thing, we have the LED, we have the wires out. What do we do next? Yeah, and to diffuse this one, I have it somewhere up, right here. I just printed a simple circle out of PETG, translucent PETG, and I made it solid. No infill, nothing. It's just, I don't know, I think it's 5 layers of solid PETG. That way the light diffuses perfectly. And this one, I just glued on top. If you print it perfectly, scale it perfectly to this circle, it will not fall out and be gone forever. You can actually pressure fit it in, so you can remove it easily. Honestly, I'm not worried about that. These LEDs last forever and they're used occasionally. I mean, you're using it for a couple of seconds when you lift your arm, and that's pretty much it. So they will last forever. And if I need to change it, I'll just push the glue out. It's not a big deal. But how do you actually make it light up? All the magic is actually in here, and you can see the wire that I connected. There's a little connection here. I think you can see it. Let me cover up. Yeah, this black piece. It's a two-part connector, the female and the male part, and they just click in. So this is what your glove looks like when you glue the diffuser in. This is pretty much what you have. I mean, it's the same as this one without diffuser. This is what you got. Those two wires, the plus and the minus, just go to this connector, and that connector is actually going into the connection of the forearm. So in the forearm is everything you need. There is actually a battery right there. Let me get the angle right. There is a battery right here, and this green little piece, this one, that is how you charge the battery itself. Let me show you this, if the light will allow me. Yeah, that's what you use to charge the battery, and that's the battery itself. I also added this guy, a linear retractable little cable that goes out of it. You usually use it for the name tags and whatnot, keys for example, and I used it to pull on the wires. So let me just fish the wires out, and they're out. You connect them to the glove and you're good to go. But once you put your hand in, then what? You leave all the wires out? No, the linear does all the job. Pulls them all in, tuck them nicely inside of the forearm, and you can't see them anymore. This is a pressure switch, just like the ones you have on your 3D printers. They're really cheap. You can get them on Temu for like, I don't know, $3 is a whole pack of them, like 5 or 6. It's really freaking cheap, and they work perfectly. Whenever I raise my arm, I bump this one, and it lights up. My glove lights up. That's it. And let me show you in action what is it that I'm talking about. Let me fish the wires out. Squeeze my hand through, because I made the gauntlet fit my hand almost perfectly. Let me fish the connection out. Take this part. And I usually don't even disconnect this from the glove, because I made my wires a little bit long. As you can see, I actually have more than enough room to just slide my hand in side of the glove. And this is what I mean. All the wires are sticking out because the connection got stuck. So once I have my hand in, I just need to make some room for the linear to do its job. It can get tangled up like you did now, but trust me, if you do it carefully, like I usually do, and place the wires correctly, I don't know if you can see it, but if I give it enough room, it puts the wires back in quite easily. Even if you have to assist it, it's just pushing it with one finger and they're in. Put the glove in properly, and that's it. This you will not be able to see because I have the offsuit underneath, and that's it. Now, when I actually move my hand up and I hit the pressure switch, it lights up. I mean, it really is as simple as that. Bam. And you have your lights up. Just raise your hand, boom. You can pose, you can do whatever you like. And this is what I was talking about, making a cut right here. When I raise my arm, there is no gap. If I didn't have it, this whole piece would lift up and there would be a gap. This way, no gap. My personal choice, you can do it however you see fit. Now, one thing I didn't talk about in the previous video when I showed you how I assembled the glove to the worker's glove is how to actually scale this sucker to work on your hand. Well, not easy. To actually scale the gloves and scale the fingers, I think that's probably the hardest part of scaling the Ironman suit, or any suit in particular, because you're gonna use a lot of fingers. I mean, first of all, print the index finger and see if it fits. If it fits, perfect. If it doesn't, put it on your ring finger. Then scale that up, like, I don't know, try 5, then try 10%, depending on your fingers. Mine are big and chubby, they're not especially long, so I even had to scale the fingers down to make them fit perfectly onto my hand. This is the type of hand most of the cosplayers use, and it's not attached by the glove like I did on this one. It's just elastic, and this one is fine. It gets the job done, but this is what I was saying about having short fingers. The fitment of the palm, perfect. I mean, bloody perfect. And this way it looks really freaking good. And my articulation is actually a lot better on this glove than on this one. But the top of my fingers is barely in the top of these fingers. And if I scale them down even more to fit my fingers, it looks ridiculous. It just doesn't look good because this is a beefy part. I needed a room for electronics, and my fingers become too short, so it looks ridiculous. This way it looks perfect, and you can't really tell until I tell you that my fingers are not all the way in, and the articulation on this one is actually a lot better than this one. But I don't like the way they look. I like the way it feels, but I don't like the way it looks. This is the old look, and I'm going with Mark 85, and this build series is about making my Mark 85 suit. So I wanted accurate arms for the suit, and in the last film he's using these guys with round fingers because it's a nanotech and it's all more accurate to the physique of the human being. So I went with that. I like more the way these guys look, so I went with that. The articulation is not the same. I'll show you that in a moment. They don't move quite as nicely as the old ones. You see, this is as much as I can actually press my fingers down, and I can alleviate that by cutting a little bit of this, but honestly I'm not gonna be really fighting anyone, so just moving my hand normally, it's good enough. The most important part was actually posing for the light, and honestly that's the most important part. So, scaling wise, because that's what we were talking about, trial and error. And one important thing on that note, if 95% fits you perfectly, like a glove, 95 is good, 100 is the best. You need a little bit of breathing room in your gauntlet. If it's a glove, if it's a forearm, doesn't matter, you need a little bit of room, a wiggle room for your suit, morph suit, undersuit, whatever you're wearing, for your hand to move and breathe and not be squeezed by the plastic. Being pinched or squeezed by a plastic hurts like a... You get what I mean. Excuse my French, but it hurts a lot. So, to avoid that, go about 5% bigger. If 100% of the original model is perfect, go 105, or maybe even 110. This is 110. 105 was perfectly measured with my arm. My arm, the inner circumference of the gauntlet, was perfect on 105. My fist doesn't go through. On 110, as you can see, I need to wiggle it out to get it through. That's the perfect spot. This part becomes comfortable, and I can use it because my hand actually can go through. So with this one you can even do test things like cut just this section, fit your hand through. Cut this section, fit your hand through. If it works, then print the whole thing, don't waste all of the filament and then realize, oh crap, I can't fit my arm through. Ask me how I know. It's right there in the box. So, test fit everything, measure everything, then do the test ring, just cut a simple portion of the model, print that one and see if you can slide it in. If you can, that's the measurement you need. And for the love of God, rename that file. For example, write Gauntlet 110%. So you know you need to scale it to 110% when you're making it. Maybe this gets broken and you can't repair it anymore. You need to reprint it again 2 years later. You will thank me for naming your file according to the size of the print. Because, boom, you know what to do. Send it to the printer, send it, paint it, you're done. And honestly, guys, that's pretty much it for the Gauntlet itself. So, rechargeable battery with a plug that I can put the cables in and recharge it. Connect the two pieces with a simple connector. That's all you need to do. It's one plus and one minus. To be able to retract all the cables in, just use a linear. You can buy it in a bookstore or pretty much wherever, China shop. Buy one, attach it to the wires or the connector itself like I did. So when you put your hand in, if it has enough room, it will slide in and you got yourself an entire Gauntlet. And honestly, as you saw in the intro, just using this and just using my helmet and whatnot, it's actually pretty freaking cool. So, without further delay, guys, thank you all for watching. If you like what I do and you want to see more of my build videos for the Mark 85 that are coming up, and you probably can hear my printer is screaming already, it's printing my butt for the suit, hit the like, comment something, give me some suggestions. How do you want my videos to look like? What do you want to see next? How can I make them better for you guys? I know how I did this. I figured it out. I want to share my experience with you so you can do it even better than I did. So, until the next time, see you all. Bye.